You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, it's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Californication.
Why can't you just enjoy the music?
I know, just gotta enjoy it for a second.
There's a mood switch there.
It was. You guys are listening to the sweet sounds of the After Show for Californication, Season 7, Episode 10, Dinner with Friends.
This is like a dinner with friends.
This is like a dinner with friends. I'm your host, Stephen Lemieux, and I am joined here today with a very lovely woman who I would like to have an intimate dinner with sometime. You know, her name is Roxy Striar.
I think we can do that.
Let's do that.
I think we can.
And while we're at that dinner, we'll probably be interrupted by somebody, and his name is Phil Svitek from the booth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back. What a great episode.
You
Feels
see,
like our Levon.
He just gotta change. He changes the entire energy of the room when it comes.
Because I'm excited.
He's excited. It was
Me and my boy Leon. Why can't people get it right? It's Levon.
Levon, man. This episode had everything. It was like old school Californication. I love it. Everything that could go wrong does, and everyone just shows up. And you know, the writers don't even need excuses. They're just like, look, they're showing up. Deal with it. This is what's happening.
Yeah, it's completely outlandish, over the top, unrealistic. Doesn't really matter. Hysterical, classic Californication.
But it all makes sense because even everything, of course, Levon gets a hooker, and of course she ends up robbing them, and of course Eddie's there, and everyone but Becca. Everyone but Becca.
Everyone but Becca. And we haven't even heard from Becca this entire season.
Well, the only thing that we have kind of heard from her was last episode when
he tried to call her.
When he tried to call her. That was the first time we see her name on the phone, and I'm like, oh, Becca? And then we cut to a different scene and we see little Becca, but we don't see Becca.
I think this episode's great in the fact that it is literally like one location.
Yeah.
Like this gives hope to like the young filmmakers like me that you can create something so diverse and have so many great storylines intersecting with one location.
Right. A lot of that has to do with the fact that this show has done such an amazing job creating all of these stories that intertwine. So now it's coming to a peak at this one dinner. Yeah. But absolutely, you know, it definitely had our attention for the entire 25 minutes or whatever the episode is. And we didn't leave their place. A little bit, but for the most part, we were at the Malibu home.
Yeah, so the episode opens with Hank knocking on the red door, much like the season started. Right. With Hank opening the red door and seeing Karen, and they talk for a bit. And what did you think about that scene, Roxy?
You know, it's just so hard when you're such a hopeless romantic, and especially with Hank and Karen, to watch him trying to be such a different person, but he just isn't changing in the way that I would think an accident like that would make him change. I think he's really trying, but it's not enough. So, I mean, it's bittersweet.
It's fairly difficult to change yourself, though.
Of course,
with Hank, I mean, I feel like if somebody's going to get off drugs, they need to be away from people who are on drugs. They need to be away from that. Hank, right. California kind of seems to be like this whole society he's a part of. Kind of seems to be a bad influence on what he does.
Yeah, I think it's almost too easy to blame it on that, though. You know, would it be that different if he was in New York, if he was in Chicago, if he was in San Francisco? You know, in any of these cities that there are hot women, there's going to be temptation. It's not just California. Yes, California happens to have a plethora of gorgeous, beautiful, model-esque women. But there are a lot of beautiful women in the world.
But it's also, I've actually, I forget which show we were talking about, just kind of New York in general. And when it's that miserable and cold, sometimes you don't want to go out. Yeah. You know, in Boston, Roxy, like sometimes you just can't.
That's
and you know
true.
What? In California, you can 365 days a year.
And like, is it very abundant in like Chicago? I've never been to Chicago. I've been to New York, but I was like 7. Are drugs and like cocaine and like women like that so flippant and everything just as much there?
Yeah, in all major cities, there's drugs, there's women, there's sex, there's everything, you know? It just so happens that LA is very live fast, die young in the way that, you know, it is. The entertainment business, the scene, it's very sceney. I don't even know another way to describe it. So it's not the best city to live in if you're trying to avoid temptation. But, you know, you can't really blame it on your location. I think you have to look at yourself.
Well, you can't. I mean, what I found hilarious was that they were blaming it on Marcy and Runkle. How many things have happened in Marcy and Runkle's house?
It's like an Indian burial ground where they're just kind of trying to get poon and have an orgy underneath the ground.
Right. I like that they acknowledge that tonight, though. I think that shows that are self-aware are the best kind of show, and that they kind of poke fun at the fact that it's this place that all shit seems to go down.
It really is. So after that scene, we get a nice little romantic intro. We get you know, Hank and Karen at Runkle's Malibu home because they can't do it at Hank's place, and Hank convinces her, "Oh, let's go to dinner. Let's go to dinner at this nice little new place. You know, 4 stars. It's great."
Kenny.
And then he takes her back to Runkle's place.
Yeah, but even that, it's like his auntie. It's so adorable that the whole thing, and he pretends he cooks dinner, and then he admits that he didn't cook the dinner, and all that. But you know, it's getting tiring. All of these things that she finds charming about him. It's like she says, it's also why she can't be with him. So yes, she's attracted to him. Yes, she's in love with him. But that doesn't mean that they make a good match right now, or ever had. You know, so it's sad to watch him doing all these little things that are endearing and cute, but not enough.
It's like the stuff you do when you first start dating somebody, like the cute stuff. But then, like when it gets serious, it's like
that gets old.
Okay, but like when are we gonna have like a real talk as opposed to just, oh, you're gonna cutely make me dinner, and then it's not really you making me dinner. And
exactly. You know, when you first get a boyfriend or you first start seeing somebody, there are little things he can do that are really cute at first.
Breakfast
and
in bed.
And all, but when that's all there is, at some point it's like, okay.
Let me ask you this, because was this the final straw? Just, of course he was inside of her, and she just realized, like, why did I think otherwise? So, and when the truth came out that her and Eddie Nero did not sleep together, it just showed their differences.
Well, it's especially because Hank had used that as an excuse in the past. I mean, like, well, you slept with Eddie Nero.
Right. It's too hard to say the final straw with this show, because, like, the final straw was in season 1. You know, like there have been so many.
Well, in season 1 they got back together. So,
yeah.
Well, I guess the season 1. I mean, apart from her being 16, I don't know if it's that bad.
No, I'm just saying that there have been 50 final straws. Like, is that the final straw that he slept with Julia? I don't know if there ever will be a final straw. You know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with somebody you're so connected with, like on an emotional level and on a physical and personal level, is. Like, if you've dated somebody for 3 years, I mean, you break up, you try your best to not see them ever again. Because you know that, unless, like, some people can stay friends after that, but most of the time, people will try to avoid them. Because once they're in the same room together, unless they, like, literally hate each other after that.
Well, Steven, you know what? What you're describing right now is the healthy move. When you break up with somebody, it is healthy to not want to constantly be around them.
There you go.
This is a not healthy relationship.
No, that's
especially because they say don't sleep with your ex. How many times have they slept together?
But it's not even that. It's just there's something about this kind of love, this kind of like disgusting need to be together, so in love that makes it more romantic, that we want to watch it more on television, as opposed to a very healthy relationship where you guys either are together or you're apart. And if you're apart, you don't see each other, because why would you? They have a kid together. There is no not seeing each other. So I don't know. I think that there is something about this magnetic force that they have. They keep going back to one another. But they've never really, or at least he's never tried to avoid her. She tries to avoid him a lot, but to no prevail. Like. So
they're having this dinner, and then, of course, Julia shows up.
Of course.
Because that's the person that's the person that needed to show up.
Right.
Yeah, to the Runkles, because she knows where they are at all times. Mm-hmm. And of course, Karen's like, let's mess with Hank. So yeah, come on in. We can have dinner anytime. Come on in.
Such a Karen move. So classic Karen to invite her in and be all friendly. Sometimes I think Karen we think that she's too nice. Like, that was a little manipulative, in my opinion.
God. Like, I would be so pissed off if I was Hank in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, not that he doesn't deserve it, but she doesn't know he deserves it yet, you know?
Yeah.
That's like I think that's something I would do.
But she likes to tease him a lot. Like, that's like a teasing thing. You know, I can forgive it.
It's a power play, you know? Like, she's like, wants to have all the power here and show like, oh, I can invite her and I can play nice with your little ex-girlfriend. Look at me.
But Hank does it too.
Oh, yeah, of course. So that's the relationship.
Exactly. So she shows up for a while, and then, of course, who do we get? The Runkles in a fight again. Because that's what they're always doing now.
Well, because the credit card's been declined. Not just one, but all of them. And then the cops get called and whatever. It just was trying to show to us yet again that this is not a couple that is kind of has some money saved away. They're broke. They're dead broke. And they're trying to still live the same lifestyle that they had been living, which, if you guys don't know this because you don't live in California, Abbot Kinney has like some of the most incredibly expensive little boutique restaurants there are in Los Angeles. If you are hurting for money, you do not go to eat on Abbot Kinney. Like,
here's what I liked. This is jumping ahead, but when Stu came in, he's like, "This is a rental."
Yeah, he's like, "Don't disrespect me in my own home." Oh, please, this is a rental. It is very disrespectful what Stu's done. We haven't got to him yet, though. Yeah,
Stu's being really disrespectful. So Karen, of course, Marcy's like, "Okay, Karen's here. I can ask her the question, so everybody can know now. Should I have sex with him for $1 million?"
Yeah, again, I'm having a hard time with this one, especially after we see Runkle and Marcy talk at the hospital. Mm-hmm. When they were talking about how sex is meaningless and she should have never been mad at him for jerking off and whatever, all this stuff. It's like I don't know which side is right now. What do you think, that she should go for it and just sleep with him, get it over with, and get the $1 million, or no?
I think they're doomed to fail. I mean, honestly.
So that it doesn't even matter?
I don't think it matters at this point, because I feel like she's not going to be with Stu. She's probably not going to be with Runkle. I mean, let's face it, at this point, it's just kind of like a moot point to even go for it, because as much as they love each other, I mean, their relationship is built squarely upon sex. And then we see last episode where they do talk about how sex is meaningless. So their relationship is based upon something that's meaningless.
I don't know. I think that they are going to end up together. I really believe that this show is structured so that Marcy and Runkle and Hank and Karen end up together and are 4 best friends. Like, that's what's been foreshadowed for all the seasons. But that's not me saying that I think they're the best couple.
I don't think so. I think this show gets a darker ending. I think it gets a more realistic ending to Hollywood. I mean, because Hollywood's not like that. Like, you don't move to Hollywood, go through all this crap, go through everything that Hank and Karen went through, and then everything's happily ever after. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't happen.
I guess we'll see. We only have 2 episodes left.
That would be the biggest of fictions if that happened.
Yeah, but you see episodes like tonight where it's like so many people showing up at the Runkles. It's not the most realistic show.
True. I don't know. I don't think Tom Capinos would give him the happy ending. It just
somebody's got to get a happy ending.
I mean, maybe Levon gets a happy ending. He becomes a pimp and just has a bunch of hookers.
He did it in the pooper.
Maybe he found her by getting a happy ending at a massage parlor.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys.
He did everything.
Okay.
He did everything. He went around the freaking world with her.
Good for him.
So then, of course, Stu shows up. We get that whole... He brings a briefcase full of money. He said it was 10%, so like $200... So like $100,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, $100,000 is a good amount of money to sit in front of you and be offered for sex. As we talked about what my price would be a little bit ago. I don't know, guys. That's a lot of money. That's hard to turn down.
Damn.
Kind of kidding.
Phil, woman walks in front of you. She's like maybe like a 4 out of 10. Puts down $100,000. Hey, let's have sex. Nobody would know about it.
Why has it got to be a 4 out of 10 and only 100? They're only doing 10% right now.
Well, he's saying that Stu is about a 4 out of 10. I'm assuming that was the comparison.
Okay, I'll give 6 out of 10 because Stu, I guess,
we're talking about $1 million.
Okay.
$1 million. Why do I have to get lowered?
All right, Phil, 4 out of 10 walks up with $1 million, says, hey, have sex with me right now.
Hell yeah.
But you'll get AIDS.
No, we wear rubbers just like me.
There you go. You wear rubbers just like Levon.
This episode really did promote the usage of condoms.
It did.
Good for them. Be safe. Safe sex, guys. Honestly,
To be fair, that was the most unsafe sex possible.
All right,
but that's a pun because obviously they get robbed.
When I was watching this, I was like, this is an incredibly racist scene. Like the way she was speaking, and then to find out that she was faking it, I was a lot happier with it.
Oh my God.
I was like, is this actress serious right now? Like,
what was it that she said?
10 euro.
Unlimited roads.
Unlimited roads.
Unlimited roads.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so ridiculous.
It was absurd.
And
like,
just the way that what's his face comes in. Why do I keep Krull?
Oh, Krull.
When Krull comes in, it's like, oh, I know you, doll.
Yeah.
Oh, you big man. Yeah, you Rocky Roboto.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just like absurd. I was
She
like,
just knows everyone.
The show just went there.
Yeah, but Los Angeles is a small town like that. Everybody knows everyone, so I'd imagine that people who get hookers would probably know the same hookers.
Yeah, but I didn't know that many people get hookers.
Oh, people probably get hookers all the time.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I guess so.
I mean, I heard a story the other day that surprised me about an actor and a model, and I was just like, what? And yeah, like shit. Crap like that happens.
If you're talking about me, I'm an actor, model /
singer,
so
songwriter,
it couldn't be
yeah.
me.
Yeah. No, like
anyway.
yeah, it was I'll tell you guys after. But no, like I'd assume it's just a small world, and I'm sure that community like communicates with each other, and I'm sure when it comes to high-end prostitution, people probably are like, oh, I know somebody. Here's his card, and he'll set them up with the same kind of people.
Right, but she didn't strike me as the highest end hooker.
No, she was on Sunset and Gardner, coming right out of the comic book store.
Yep.
Because that's where you meet hookers, right, Phil?
Oh, of course. That's where I meet my hookers.
All right. So he's still working on the memoirs of Atticus Fetch.
Right, or in everybody, all of the interactions he's had in the rock and roll business.
And he's like, yeah, I just remembered another story, yeah, and it's I walked in on Atticus blowing himself, and he was so surprised he blew his out on all of us. Yeah. I got combat pay for that one.
Yeah, I miss Atticus. I wish that we had him on the show. I miss Faith too.
Aww.
I do.
Who would you rather Hank be with? Faith? Julia? I'm not gonna say Karen. Yeah, because you just say Karen immediately.
I think long term it would have to be Julia, because Faith was such a great fling and really good for him, but I can't picture him like ending up with somebody.
Well,
like
she's a muse. She's not a
exactly,
wife.
Exactly. But it's hard for me to even say anybody other than Karen.
She had that great line though, where she said, I could learn and I could be that way, and that deserves to be acknowledged. So I thought, I mean, again, I don't think she would have been the ultimate woman, but I really love that line.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had a really hard time tonight though with Karen and Hank and her like straight out rejection of him. I didn't feel like it was unjustified. So I do think it was justifiable the way she was treating him, but it was really tough. She says, it's your life, and if there's something about it you don't like, you can change it, which is very true, and I always feel that way about Hank. Like, he bitches and complains, and I'm like, well, then change something, do something. But I don't know. It's so hard for me that she says, when are you going to understand this? And he says, never. And I just picture this, like, all going on forever. We only have 2 episodes left. I want there to be some sort of closure, and I'm wondering if we're even going to get that closure, because you don't really get that in life, you know? Is he just always going to chase for her, and she always going to run? Well,
not to get too far into it, but it was interesting how they marketed it of like, before 2 episodes left before Hank rides off into the sunset. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was interesting too. I was like, because we've been kind of predicting that in some sort of way, like how is it going to go? But now that they straight out said it, what does that mean?
Right, absolutely. And especially, this could be reading way too much into that, but into the sunset to me means west, which would negate all of our predictions that he might go back east.
I don't think into the sunset really means west.
I know that it doesn't, but sunsets in the west. I don't know. I just
what is it going to go to Japan? Like, how far more west can you go?
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that they would market him going back to New York by saying he rode off into the sunset.
Do you see an attempted suicide in Hank's future?
No,
not at all.
No,
we've already had one of those.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think that fans would be furious if that's the way the show ended.
Oh, yeah.
Like, real pissed. But in real life, realistically, I think his character is, like, doesn't even realize he's on a downward spiral always, and has been for years.
So he might just pack up and leave. He might just take Becca, pack up and leave. He might, I mean, he might have cancer or something. We might get something terrible like that.
I don't know. We got the accident with Karen, so I don't feel like we're going to see an accident with him.
Here's the thing. I don't. You can't. You know, if we're kind of on predictions, and you know, we can talk about the great scene. We kind of did, but between Hank and Karen, you know, in the previews, they're confronting finally. You know, you have Levon and Karen. You have Levon and Julia and Karen and Becca finally. So we see her. We don't know if it's the next episode directly because they marketed it too, but for once, they're finally cornering him, and you know. No more just kind of mass hysteria as in tonight's episode, which was great, but finally just the people that ultimately matter in Hank's life and we're going to get to the bottom of this. And he seemed like he wanted to leave, but Karen was like, no, not this time.
Yeah, I honestly, I guess.
Why are you laughing?
Because, yes.
Because there has to be a final confrontation. As much as he may want to leave and as much as it may suck, something has to give, right? That was, if we're talking about the suicide, there was that great line, you know, something has to give, you know, it's getting dark, too dark to see, and you know what, he's coming to that point, so it may not be a suicide, but it's the final confrontation.
And you think that will be an event?
Absolutely. I don't know how it ends, but I feel it's an event.
I don't know. This car accident for me was the event. So now we just have to see.
This series hasn't had a climax yet.
You don't think that was it?
That was not a climax. If she had died, that would have been a climax. But the fact that it was just a concussion, that was not a climax. That was a use of dramatic. It was a writer's tool to put drama in to get one character from one place to another place to speed things along. It was
a vehicle, but I thought that vehicle would change either Karen's perspective or Hank's, and I guess it has Hank's a little bit because now he's like full court press on her. Mm-hmm. But you know, I thought maybe after that she would be like, "Listen, we don't have that conventional relationship where but we're always going to be together in some way." Or something like that. Like, I'm not willing to lose you in this capacity, but that's not what happened.
Didn't Karen look great this episode, though?
I said it like 15 times. I think she's so beautiful.
She's so pretty, and, I mean, she's got such a great body, you can tell. And if you really want a great body, too, you should guys probably check out our founder, Maria Menounos' new book. It's the Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness. It is in stores now. You can pick it up on Amazon, and you can pick it up in, you know, stores everywhere now. Lots of pictures in here. I mean, you can see her at size 14, size 2.
Wait, speaking of pictures, you know who took some of those pictures?
I took about...
Our very own Stephen Lemieux.
I took about 25 of them that are in the book.
Which is amazing.
But still pretty cool. There's exercise regimens. There's celebrity, like... other celebrities who give tips and stuff.
There's
in the book.
Recipes. There's some really great stuff. And if you can see the book that he's holding right now, if you're watching us, you know that her abs on there are like crazy ripped.
There's like Greek recipes that her mom created. And they're like the best thing ever. If you've ever met Marie's
Hank could make dinner for Karen if he only had this book.
If he only had Litsa and this book. All right, guys. But I think we've kind of rolled through predictions. But
well, I'm just curious. So goodbye, Eddie. Is this the end of what we're seeing of Eddie? Was this like
absolutely. We're not going to see it.
Yeah, they're not going to bring Rob Lowe back for another episode.
We just wanted to see him say goodbye, and
he's just trying to go. When he said, "I'm going for that Emmy," who knows? I mean, that would be funny just to nominate him just because of that, just because of the line in the show.
What about introducing the temptation with Rick Rath and Karen?
I think again, it's just Karen messing with Hank.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think having Eddie there was really a way to bring Hank down to earth in the fact that Karen didn't have sex with Eddie. Mm-hmm. They cleared the air on that as opposed to having it be she had sex, so he has something over on Karen right now in their crazy relationship. He has nothing on Karen
anymore,
at all. So it's really just he's got to decide. But I think that's pretty much our show, guys.
Yeah, I cannot wait until next week when we see like this weird family dynamic with Levon and Becca.
I've been waiting for Becca and Levon.
I know.
All
season.
Freaking day.
I know. All day. All year.
All year. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show. This has been Season 7, Episode 10, Dinner with Friends. I'm your host, Stephen Lemieux. That's StephenLemieux. You can find me on BBC's America's Master Chef After Show. It's not BBC American, I'm just messing with you. And where can we find you, Roxy Striar?
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
And Mr. Phil Svitek, executive producer of AFTERBUZZ TV, where can we find you?
At AFTERBUZZ TV and anatomyofammovie.com. Roxy does that show too. It's great. It's fun. And And yeah.
We just did Fault in Our Stars. So good.
It's a very good movie. We'll see you all next week for another episode of the After Show for Californication Season 7, Episode 11.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, motherfuckers.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.